Hey guys, it's your best fight friends. I'm Kelsey. That's Rachel.
We just watched UFC 257.
Amazing.
Like we're sure that you did. And
amazing.
Amazing. Shocking. I was shocked. Shocked.
What a star-making... No, that's not right.
Spoiler alert.
Diamond-making performance by Dustin the Diamond Poirier in the main event. What an amazing win for Poirier to knock McGregor out in the second round. And, I mean, it was a fun, awesome, great fight. I thought McGregor he had a great first round. He looked good, but Dustin...
He did. He looked strong. Like, I thought it was over for Dustin.
But this was not the same Dustin. This was not the same Dustin of 6 years ago, right? This was not the same guy. This guy...
I don't think it was the same McGregor either.
right.
As it turns out.
But if you go back and look, I think in hindsight, people will see that there was a lot of data that suggested that Poirier had a better chance than he was given credit for. I thought it was absurd. I thought the line on the fight was borderline absurd in that McGregor was a bigger favorite in this fight than he was in the first fight. And I thought that was crazy if you look at the last 3 years of data. Still, I did not expect Dustin Poirier to knock Conor McGregor out in the second round like that, but he totally did, Rachel. It was amazing.
Yeah, so congrats to Dustin Poirier. I am super happy. Everything that I've seen from him, I
Paid in full, baby.
It's nice to see somebody work hard and get that, get that win.
Well, it's awesome to see somebody who admittedly said, like, look, in the first fight, I was thinking about the wrong things. I got caught up in the moment. I was immature, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then to go through his whole career and get this opportunity and make good on that rematch. He was so excited about fighting Conor McGregor again. And sometimes that can happen, and a guy will get in the same spot, and he gets in the same fight against the same superstar, and he'll freeze or he'll flip out. But Poirier did not do that. He was ready for the moment. He even was in some troubled spots. He took McGregor down in the first round. I was like, oh, this is going to be a different fight. Mm-hmm. I think that Dustin Poirier is awesome. Congrats to him. To me, it looks like he's on his way to fighting for UFC gold, while McGregor is just UFC old.
All right. Oh my goodness.
That totally happened.
Well, let's talk. You mentioned how the data didn't really support McGregor being as big of a favorite he was coming to this fight.
Yeah.
And we talked about it in an earlier show that there was a lack of data for McGregor because he hasn't fought very often in the last 3 years. And we looked back at his last three fights, and it was Donald Cerrone, Khabib Nurmagomedov. Did I say that right?
Nurmagomedov. Perfect.
I just
Perfect,
tried.
Rachel. You threw it out there, though.
And then Floyd Mayweather. And 2 of those are losses. So, it was crazy that the
odds were
the lack of data. Now, here, I thought that maybe because you wrote an article about how the stats favored Dustin Poirier. Then you wrote an article about this, there being a lack of data. And your Bleacher Report betting value picks for betting, your big money bonus pick was picking Poirier.
Yeah, that was the data, because of the data and because the odds suggested it was a possibility.
Now, I thought, because you really started to convince me, and I went, is this just a case of Rachel who's like, this person made a lot of reasonable, things, and then I go into fight night and, Conor beats him in, 30 seconds, and I'm like, no, but
Kelsey!
But you did. You totally had me because I was like, this is all very reasonable. We had all this data for Dustin, and it was like, Conor, the inactivity. That hurts. And here's something. When Conor came in and the fight started, I just had this feeling, and it's something we've both talked about with other big fights in combat sports. I thought I saw something behind the eyes of Conor. And I wasn't sure he was ready. I wasn't sure that I saw him, especially during that takedown, there was something in his face, because in that takedown we had a lot of seeing Conor's face because he was sitting down with his back up against the cage, and I just thought there was something that's maybe he wasn't quite ready for this fight.
I feel like, I don't know where I wrote it. I wrote it somewhere, or thought it at least. Okay. I thought that Conor McGregor, the way that this fight came about is not the way... I even told Dustin Poirier when I interviewed him for Boots Rock. I was like, this doesn't seem like the way you want to end up in a Dustin Poirier fight. You're in a tiff with Dana White about not being able to fight all year. oh, well, I'm going to try to fight Dustin Poirier. Remember,
For
because
a charity bout.
It started off as like not a UFC fight, turned into a UFC fight. Dustin Poirier is that dude, though. That's not a guy you want to fight unless you have to. And certainly you don't want to just assume that you're going to beat him. Now, Conor had a reason to be confident because he knocked him out in the first round. But I thought the genesis of the fight troubled me a little bit. And then, like you said, I feel like he figured that out pretty fast in the fight. Still, Conor's super confident. But his confidence this time in this fight, I was like, I don't know if you should be as confident as you are. What on earth makes you think you're going to knock him out in 1 minute when nobody does that to Dustin Poirier? Not in 6 years, right? I mean, he's a different kind of fighter than he was back then. Still, Dustin Poirier, amazing performance for him. Conor McGregor, he said it. I said this also. I don't want to keep patting myself on the back, but I will. Conor McGregor hasn't lived the life of a full-time fighter in a long time. And Dustin Poirier, that's all he's done. Mm-hmm. That matters. I know people maybe don't always see that, but Conor McGregor's right after the fight. He said what he needs to do is stay active. He does need to stay active. If he wants to compete at the highest level in the UFC or in anything, he has to be a fighter 24/7.
Do you agree with Poirier that he is the champ?
I mean, he's basically... And the champion is going to be Khabib Nurmagomedov until Dana White is honest about that fighter not coming back. I don't think Khabib wants to come back.
Dana said in the post-fight presser that Khabib said he was levels above these guys. Now, I've seen Khabib fight once because I'm new to watching the UFC.
You're a new little baby. You've seen him fight twice, so you saw the Conor fight too.
Okay. And the last fight where he retired, when I saw him against Justin Gaethje, I went, whoa. Like, it was clear to me how good Khabib was. Like, just amazing. So I have to agree with Khabib. I get your point of view, Khabib, saying that your level's above. Like, what is he supposed to do? Like, he told Dana, be honest with yourself, you know? So Dana said he's going to give him one more chance.
I told Dana that
and then
Come on, Dana.
He's going to, like, let go of it and move on. So I find it unlikely, unless Khabib wanted to do the super fight thing with GSP.
Yeah,
because he had that kind of thing, and I kind of get that, but to me that wouldn't be.
That's not a real fight.
Like,
I mean, it is a real fight. But...
I mean, I guess it would be, but it seems kind of like you have all these guys
if that's
waiting.
What he wants to do, that would be great.
To fight for the title.
You can vacate that sucker and still make that fight.
Right? Yeah. So that's what I would like to see happen. I would like to see the title vacated. And then I think now we're ideally perfect for a lightweight tournament.
Or,
because if McGregor won...
The tournament had already started. It already started at 257. We got Dustin the Diamond Poirier, baby. That's right. But you forgot about Rachel's guy, Iron Mike Chandler.
Why's that my guy?
No.
Okay. You just said that?
Yeah.
All right.
Rachel's a big Bellator fan.
Well, I just find it interesting, which is why I like the idea of a tournament starting from scratch, and not starting here at UFC 257, is I don't understand how Chandler can come into the UFC and then, like, what, next he's going to fight Dustin Poirier?
Well, it's because he's a 3-time Bellator champ. Like, he has the credentials. People thought he's been a world champion 3 times in a rival organization that's, considered near on par with the UFC, at least not. Yeah. It's not like a minor league system. Some people think it is, but it's clearly not. The guy just knocked out pretty quickly Dan Hooker, a really good fighter.
Well, and then my other thing I don't understand is even how Conor, with his years of inactivity, so like he gets to fight with Dustin Poirier, who was ranked second.
Then you got what happens with Justin Gaethje, who's technically still ranked 1. Though I don't think he's going to be after this thing. When Poirier knocked out Justin Gaethje, too, people forget that as well.
But what do you, like, he fights a completely different guy? Like, he fights Conor McGregor, and then you're just going to move him above Justin Gaethje? Like, I don't...
Shouldn't he already be above Justin Gaethje, though?
But he's not. And this just goes to show, I don't understand how UFC ranks their fighters. It's just like, whatever somebody wants is what, we're going to have this guy fight this guy now, and
it does seem that
guess
way.
What? It's for a title.
Yeah.
It's I don't understand it.
I don't understand either.
It's all over the place, which is why some people really like the PFL, which is always like that. Once you move over from one-off fights, you move into that tournament,
it's
you know?
The tournament.
So you don't have like the politics and stuff like that.
The format
but
is great.
The main event, UFC 257, I was shocked. A lot of people were super happy, and I totally get that. I liked both these guys coming into this, so I followed some of the fight week stuff going on, and they were both. I love Dustin and Conor together. They were both respectful.
Yeah, that was great.
They were nice. They both of them were likable, and so it hurt my heart. It would have hurt my heart for either of them to lose. So my heart was going to be hurt no matter what. But I tend to feel the defeat of the person that loses the match. I'm like, I just feel so much empathy for them of how hard and difficult that must be. And I tend to even feel more empathy for somebody like Conor McGregor, because the story I make up is that it's harder to lose when you're Conor McGregor. Because you've got this whole thing around you.
He has previously lost 4 fights before tonight. 2 of them in the UFC and 2 of them even before he was in the UFC. So I feel like UFC fighters, MMA fighters in general, are more accustomed to catching losses, because I think it's more part of the culture than it is in boxing, where a guy comes out of the Olympics and doesn't really fight anybody until he gets to the top. MMA fighters do fight very tough. And even in main events, even when you're like, this guy shouldn't be that big of a favorite, he's not nearly as big a favorite as boxers are, right? He's not minus 10,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
So I like to see when people suffer losses, how they react. And if they react to that in a positive way, in a constructive way, and an instructive way for people watching at home. And I thought Conor did that. I like the same thing when people win. I think Dustin definitely did that when he won. He didn't make a big show. He was the same guy as he was before. He scored the biggest win of his life.
But he also owned the win.
Yeah.
He was like, I did this.
Love that.
And it's a good thing. And who did he bring up? Was it Max Holloway? That he said he beat twice. He was like, respect to him. But then he also acknowledged the truth. I beat that guy twice. That to me is humility, which is living in reality, being truthful. Giving me the truth like that. I really admire that. And I saw that in Dustin Poirier tonight. So great main event. I'll link to some of the articles. If you missed Dana White versus the illegal streamers that took place on Twitter, there's a lot of hilarious memes.
That's the funniest thing that happened on that, I think.
And Kelsey put a piece together on that. So link
together.
Well, will be in the show notes. So thanks, Best Fight friends. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you.
Let's do a weird pose where boxing pose.
What if I'm like?
What do MMA people do like this?
I don't know. That is a boxing thing, but I feel like they do the same thing.
Chop.
You know what? Do they get their legs into it?
Oh yeah.
Do you ask for a picture with Dustin Poirier, and then you have your leg up, or you guys get together on the ground and some jiu-jitsu
Yeah, I'm gonna try that.
Yeah. I think that'll go over well.
Let's see. I'm gonna try and grab him. What? See how that goes.
I don't know.